Harjeet Kanduja, followed by a panel discussion by our experts. I would also like to make a note here that we are on the Google Meet as well as on Poddar YouTube channel, and the session will also be live for the students in the campus. Without further ado, I would request our keynote speakers to start with the session. First, I would like to introduce our eminent keynote speaker, Dr. Kumar Vishwanathan. He is a leadership coach and a human resource professional with a master's degree in management. He was awarded an honorary doctorate for people management by a New York-based university in 2019. Sir has over 30 years of experience in the HR space in the IT industry. He is also a founding member of Conference Board's Asia Pacific Shared Services Council. In the year 2016, he was awarded as HR Superstar by HRO Magazine, Philadelphia, USA. He is also a member of India's NASSCOM Steering Committee on background checks, providing thought leadership and direction. Sir joined Mindtree in November 2013 to set up and run a multifunctional global shared services organization that handles processes in HR, finance, and procurement. After bringing the processes to a steady state, he is currently spearheading artificial intelligence initiatives like chatbot and robotic process automation for some of the key internal processes. He conceived an out-of-the-box inclusivity drive that has never been attempted by any corporate by taking the shared services work to prison inmates in Bangalore Central Prison. That's quite interesting, sir. This gives hope and is contributing to the much needed transformation of life for the prison inmates who are first-time offenders serving life sentences at the crime committed. His automation work in Mindtree is now the case study at Harvard University, US. He was recognized for his leadership competency and automation of shared services process for the purpose of teaching management to MBA students in Harvard. Sir has also published 2 papers on work-life balance and in international journals. We welcome you, we extend a hearty welcome to you, sir, and we all are quite excited to learn from you today. We welcome you to the Poddar Group of Institutions. The second keynote speaker that we have today is no less. We have Sir Harjeet Kanduja. He is an international speaker, author, poet, visionary, and HR leader, inventor, and influencer. Sir has also set multiple greenfield projects and has handled HR for large multinational organizations in various geographies, including India, US, and Canada. Harjeet's experience spans a range of industry sectors that include automotive, manufacturing, pharma, alternate energy, telecom, digital, healthcare, retail, and has worked with business houses like Tata, Reliance, and Pyramid. Mr. Kanduja is also a Thomson medalist from IIT Roorkee and has completed his management education from INSEE. Sir is a certified practitioner of SAP HCM Six Sigma. He's also into executive coaching. Mr. Kanduja has also been conferred with HR Leadership Award, Pride of Nation Award, HR Personality of the Year, LinkedIn Power. He has a very powerful LinkedIn profile, Global Learning Award, Global Digital Ambassador. has also been featured in a book, Heroes Amongst Us by Dr. Amit Nagpal. He has been a guest faculty at IIM Ahmedabad, named board member of Federation of World Academics. He is also a member of IIRF Quality Assurance Committee, co-chair of NASPOM, Rotary Club. Sir has also been associated with various NGOs. He has an array of experience. He's working as Senior Vice President, Human Resource, Geo. There's also the experience of working with Ontario Healthcare Solutions, Reliance Retail, Nicholas Pyramid, India Limited. We welcome you, sir, to Poddar Group of Institutions. I would also like to mention that after the keynote speakers have addressed, we would have the panel discussion, and we also have the line of experts for that. So I would request Vishwanathan sir to take over and share his expertise with us on the topic. Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm afraid you are not audible, sir.
Now you can, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir,
All right.
you are.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to have an interaction. It's always nice to break the monotony and then with young people, something that I always look forward to. So when I got this invitation about a week ago, and when I was told that I have to address a group of students, I did not even have a second thought. This is something that I always love to have this kind of interaction with young people. In some way, it makes me feel I'm also a little younger.
Yes, sir.
That was given made me feel as if I'm really old. But meeting these young people is negating that. So thanks a lot. So I guess I have some 25-30 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So at the end, I can open the floor for questions, or how is the schedule? Or is it
Sure,
just...
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Employability skills. This is a very interesting term, sometimes little confusing. We've always been hearing this word employment, at least during my younger age. And it is something that we always have heard. Employability is something that I came across pretty recently, a few years ago. in my vocabulary, or at least in my world, that word never existed. So I always used to wonder, what is this employability and employment? Maybe one of the things that we will touch upon is this difference, and try to see what is employment and what is employability. But before I even go there, I want to start with a very interesting survey that was conducted by some of the Ivy League universities in the US. I'm sure all of you know the Ivy Leagues, like the Stanfords, the MITs, and the Harvards. This was conducted about closely to 9 to 10 years ago. And this research was done for a period of almost 30 to 35 years. So what they did was they followed all successful people across different countries, different continents, different cultures, across different fields. You had people who are being very successful in business, arts, music, entertainment, sports, NGO, everywhere. I'm hearing some background noise. Can everybody go on mute?
So,
I think that's better. Thank you. So they started profiling people who've been successful in different walks of life. And this research was conducted for over a period of about 30 to 35 years. They followed and they continued to track. And then they came up with some very interesting finding. The purpose of the survey was to find out what makes people successful. If there are 10 different attributes, how much of these attributes really contribute to somebody's success? And a very startling finding was the core competency. They have obviously one very important attribute, what we call as core competency, something that we consider as our strength. For example, I've been in this HR business for 30 years, so my core competency is human resources. That could be somebody who could be in finance. That could be somebody who's good in sales. There's somebody who's good in programming. There's somebody who's good in procurement. There's somebody who's good in teaching. So like that, we have our own core competency, something that we are extremely good. Interestingly, the core competency attributed just 23% for people's success. For example, if somebody is a musician, or if somebody is a carpenter, or somebody is an artist, the core competency, the key thing that defines him or her, contributed only 23% for that person's success. The rest of the items, the rest of the attributes contributed 77%. Your core competency contributes 23%, other skills contribute 77%. And other skills, we'll come to that. What are those others? We'll come to that. So what does it really mean? Just because you are a great human resources professional, you have excellent knowledge in that subject, doesn't guarantee success. Just because you're a phenomenal civil engineer, just because you're excellent in science, just because you're excellent in mathematics, just because you're excellent in teaching, just because you're excellent in painting, just because you're excellent in building bridges, just because you're excellent in administration, you're not going to get success what you really deserve. Maybe it can help you survive, you can be there, you're also ran, you're not a winner. You're not going to achieve something what you really want to achieve. So you have to have something more than what you call as core competency. And that contributes 70%. Which means I have to spend more and more time on those 77% area to see how I can develop myself. Now, what are those other skills which contribute to 77%? Number one is communication leadership skills, your work ethic, your attitude towards work, your attitude towards people, the extent of people orientation, interpersonal skills, creativity, problem solving skills, handling pressure, handling ambiguity and uncertainty, etc., etc. So what this really means is if you are able to have these skills that what we call as life skills, if you're able to gain or keep improving over a period of time, even if you have a mediocre skills, your core competency, you can still be successful. There are people who are excellent in their subject but never be successful. There are people who are reasonably okay in the subject, in the field that they have chosen, but then they have excellent other skills and they end up becoming a success. Of course, success is a relative term. It varies from people to people, but whatever is your definition of success, you'll be able to achieve it if you give equal, in fact, I would say slightly more importance to some of your other skills that will help you stay relevant and then help you reach that success that you always aspired. That is extremely important. So my first message, if I have to have at least some 2 or 3 takeaways from this 20-25 minutes of my engagement with you, the number one thing that I want all of you to remember when you leave this session today, I want you to take this home. Keep a tab on your other skills, not just your core competency alone. Don't give too much importance only to your main subject or your main focus area, your professional stuff, what you want to do. Also look at some of these things. That's extremely important, and that's going to help you stay relevant, and that is what is important. Now, once you get a job, once you start working, we have this thing called performance, something that most people don't really like because there's a lot of misconception and people seem to have some struggle in understanding performance. Just to give you some real life examples, I have some of my team members in my own organization, not just in Mindtree, wherever we have worked before, there is always some level of misunderstanding or a difference in terms of how good I am think of myself versus how good my manager thinks about myself. There's always a difference. And that is something that always causes a lot of conflict. And that is real. We can't run away from this problem. This is something that we have. It's just not an industry phenomenon. It is across everywhere. It's a universal phenomenon. Everywhere we see this. I've been seeing this problem everywhere. It's just that the percentage varies. Some of the best organizations, maybe we have some better controls and systems and tracking mechanisms that are highly effective process, let me put it that way, where the differences between how a person feels about himself or herself versus how the manager feels about the team, the person, the is less. But most of the organizations, the gap is wide. So what is causing this conflict here? In my mind, if you are analytically inclined, the easier way to understand this is performance is nothing but potential minus interference. Very simple definition that everybody can easily relate to. Every engineer can easily relate to. It's a simple mathematical formula. My performance is nothing but my potential, which is slightly more than what I can actually do. Potential is what I'm capable of. Performance is what I have actually done. So what I have actually done is nothing but what I am capable of minus interference. Interference can be from multiple sources. I can be my own interference. We talked about some of those other skills, right? Communication, leadership skills. All this can be a potential interference. Maybe I'm great in my subject, but I don't like to work with people. I have an arrogant attitude. I think I am the best and the rest of or the people in my team are the worst. If I have that kind of an attitude, obviously it's an interference because nothing can be achieved by an individual. It's skills. If I don't even know how to respect my fellow colleagues' work, their time, their creativity, their problem-solving skills, and if I don't know how to handle my own pressure, and I'm extremely scared of ambiguity, just imagine what the whole world went through the last 2 years because of COVID. Are we prepared for it? Did any university prepare you for it? Nobody can, and nobody did. But we still managed to survive, and some of them actually thrived during this crisis. That is because of their work ethic and the way they look at things, what lens they wear, and that determines how you look at things. When you look things differently, you solve the problem differently, and that's how you stay ahead of the curve. So in simple terms, Performance is nothing but your potential minus interference. So keep a tab on your interference. Be aware, be conscious. I'm not saying you can eliminate all the interferences. It's not possible.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
Can everybody go on mute, please?
Chirag, mute yourself.
Thank you. So keep this in mind. You may have a lot of capabilities, but be aware of your interference. And if you stay on top of it, you're going to be a great performer. And once you're a great performer, the world is your stage. And nobody's going to stop you. Again, let's come back to this definition, employment versus employability. Employment is something that is for a defined period, for X number of days, for X number of years, for X number of months, decades, whatever. But employability doesn't have a end date. As long as you stay relevant, as long as you are able to learn and keep moving and try to keep yourself abreast with what is happening around you, whatever be the field that you are in, there is a chance, always, there is somebody willing to hire you. So employment means I may get a job. Once I've got a job, all I have to do is just keep doing what I have to do. That's all. I may not be willing to learn. I may not even have the inclination to grow, but I stay employed. I get salary. I do my 9-to-5 job. I go back home. I lead my family. I lead my life. I retire. That's a simple, very easy concept that is traditionally what the previous generation was doing. Not even this generation, previous generation was doing. Everybody was happy. If you notice, everybody used to retire from the same company. If you look at the profile of people, they would have probably worked in 1 or 2 companies. Maybe the government job, or it could be even some private jobs. You will have people who would have worked for just 1 or 2 companies, maybe 3 companies for 30 years, 35 years. They are contented, they are happy, and they did the job, got the salary, led a decent life, and then the period is over. Nothing wrong about it. That is just one way of leading your life and doing what you have to do. But what is happening in the last 15, 20 years? There is a massive revolution that is going on. We are trying to see how we can stay relevant, something that my previous generation never even thought about. The extent to which that we have to learn today was something that was not. So today it is about how do I keep myself updated? How do I stay relevant? What are the things that I have to learn so that I not only stay relevant to my company today, which was unthinkable in the previous generation, and also how can I stay relevant to the industry that I am part of, so that I'm wanted. For example, something doesn't work here, at least I have somebody who's willing to give me a job. So that is how the question of employability comes into play. Now, why are all these things important? Because there is a lot of changes that are happening. If you look at how the world has evolved, particularly in the work context, we're today going through what we call as Industrial Revolution 4.0. Again, this is something that been talked about for last 8-9 years. It started in Germany, frankly speaking, particularly for the manufacturing sector in Germany, but then it became a worldwide phenomenon. Everybody started using this term Industrial Revolution 4.0. I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but I just quickly touch upon so that some of us, if I'm not heard, can understand what you're saying. The first revolution was led by steam engines, usage of water, trains. Trains led the revolution during those days, the steam engines. And that helped the industry to grow. That also led a lot of ancillary business to come into the world. So it was completely led, the dominating factor was steam engines and usage of water, led by trains. Second revolution was when electricity, assembly line, mass production came into our life during the early 90s. That's when it had a huge impact, made a big impact on the way we live, on the way people got jobs, on the way people started learning, on the way the curriculum underwent a change, on everything. All those things had a massive impact. Of course, this also led to a lot of further innovation, creativity, and more products and services that are still relevant today. The third revolution was obviously the computers, networking, that we've been part of, which we continue to use. Fourth one, which is a recent, and about 10 years ago, is what we call as the IoT, Internet of Things, AI, artificial intelligence, ML, big data, cloud, and all that. So all these now, big data is one of the big items that drives this fourth revolution. Now, so why am I talking about these things? So what is happening, as you can see, is there is a massive transformation that we are part of, that we are witnessing, that we are part of. So some of those skills, some of those stayed relevant during one particular revolution, one particular phase, has undergone significant change that is important for us to keep ourselves abreast, understand what is going on, so that we stay relevant. And that is what we mean by employability. So if I start in a particular company after I complete my graduation, let's say I get a job in the next 3 months, 6 months, either through campus or off campus, I learned something, I start doing my job. Does it mean that I'm going to be successful? Obviously, no. There are a lot of things that are happening in that relevant space. If I continue to keep myself abreast and see what's going on, have that urge to see what's going on, then that's going to help us learn and grow. So in Mindtree, we have given a lot of thought to this. We've been hiring, being an IT services firm, we've been hiring a lot of people from campus, off campus, etc., etc. And then, in fact, we have a very clear 90-day training program for all the off-campus hires that we do, people who do not have experience, just straight from the college. And then we help them transform into what we call as engineers of future. So this 90 days program, what we do is what we use to make them relevant, make them completely adaptable for the business projects, for the customer projects that we have, and then we deploy them. So there is something very unique what we do here. So there are 3 things that we extremely focus on very, very strongly. Number 1 is curiosity. What is curiosity? Curiosity is something that we always had when we were a child. But then as we get older, as we keep gaining a lot of knowledge, go through different phases in our life, suddenly we lose that child in us. And that is really sad. And that has a direct impact on a person's growth. The key thing here is to, whatever be your age, even if you are 90 years old, always have that child in you live and kicking. Because that will ask a lot of questions, will challenge the status quo, will keep asking why, will be inquisitive, and that will help you shed the ego, that as if I know everything. That is something that we just don't like. Nobody likes. Even though you may know something, there is always something that extra that you can always pick up and see how some of those things can be made relevant to people around you, and then take everybody along. So we look for people who are curious, and we try to see how we can develop this skill and imbibe this and take them back to their younger days and see how they can ask questions, challenge the status quo. Why are we doing what we're doing? A lot of us know what we do. Very few of us know why we do what we do. And that is something that we focus on. That's what we mean by curiosity. Second skill that we imbibe and we are extremely passionate about is courage. Courage is the ability to look at things no matter what and still find a way to achieve what you want to do in life. Look things differently, try new things, being bold. What is your uniqueness? How expressive are you? How are you able to handle different situations that you've never encountered before? We've talked about ambiguity and uncertainty. Now, only those who are courageous enough obviously can handle the situation. You may be an excellent mathematician, an excellent scientist, but if you are unable to comprehend what is actually going on around you and see how that is going to impact you and then figure out what you have to do next, you're going to fail. If you don't know, and if you're not even able to comprehend, obviously you're going to fail. So it's extremely important that no matter how good you are in whatever chosen subject you have, it's extremely important to look things differently, ask questions, make a fool of yourself. And that's extremely important. That's why I love Steve Jobs when he said, we need to have that insanity in us that helps us to look things differently. He said, stay hungry, stay foolish. One of his biggest slogans during his early days, during when Apple was started, so just few years after Apple was started. And that's the reason why the company still has that culture deeply embedded and still stays relevant. And the third one, after curiosity, courage, what we look for is responsibility or accountability. The buck stops with you. Ownership. Ownership is a word that we keep using in the corporate world very frequently. Whatever I do, whatever I'm responsible for, however small, however big the job is, or the task that I am responsible for, am I taking it to perfection the best way that I can do? Perfection doesn't mean that it's the best in the world. Perfection here refers to the best version of myself that I can bring onto the table and see how I can handle this job in the best manner possible. Have I done this better than how I had done last week? You are your own benchmark. You don't have to compare yourself with anybody and then see whether you're beating that person or not. So if you have these kind of qualities, curiosity, courage, and responsibility, we think you can stay relevant. This will drive a lot of things that we talked about, the other skills, the communication, leadership skills, work ethic, attitude towards people, people orientation, creativity, etc., etc. So my second message is keep this in mind. Be curious. It's okay to be foolish. It's okay to be ridiculed. And that's when you're going to learn, and that's when you're going to grow, and that's when you're going to stay relevant. That's extremely important. Another thing that I recently came across, I had an interesting conversation with somebody who had joined us from the military, an army officer who had joined us, very interesting profile. And this gentleman did a session, and I learned a lot of things from this gentleman. He talked about muscle memory. Maybe I'm sure some of you heard this term. Actually, this is something that is very frequently used in the sports world, because if you have to keep doing a stroke, whether you're playing tennis or cricket or whatever be that sport, there are a bunch of things that you have to do to get your muscles continue to keep doing the same thing again and again, so that it becomes really good, so that you don't have to wait for the instruction that has to come from the brain, which will slightly take time. But if it is practiced so well and we have done that enough number of times, the instruction need not come from the brain, the central command, but it can be locally managed either through your hands, legs, whatever that is required here. So this concept, although it is very strong in the sports world, if you talk to any of the sports coaches in any sport, they will keep talking about muscle memory. Interestingly, this originated from the military world. A soldier or an army officer during their training in their academy are forced to assemble an AK-47 or any of the rifles again and again and again and again and again, to the extent that they get really bored and irritated, and sometimes they even yell at the instructor. But they make them do so that when it is required to be really used at the time of war, you do it without even thinking. It becomes part of your system. And that regimental focus and practice is something that is valued when it really matters during a war. The same thing applies to all of us. Now, when everything is okay, we just continue to do whatever we are doing. And that is exactly the problem. In the military world, they say bleed in peace so that you war. I love that sentence. Bleed in peace so that you bleed less in war. What it means is you practice more, put yourself under tremendous pressure and everything is normal. You learn, you keep doing again and again, put yourself under pressure so that when it really matters, you're able to do that very easily. Yes. So if we continue to keep doing some of these things and keep learning, I'm sure all of us will be able to present ourselves the best version of ourselves. There are three ways of learning. This was Confucius said. First, by reflection, which is the noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. So my dear friends, keep learning. Keep the child in you alive always. Go kiss the world. The world is yours. Best wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I especially have a solid learning today from you, sir. And the 3 points that you have shared with us, curiosity, the skills of courage, responsibility, and accountability. And I assure you, sir, that we are surely going to work on all that and would also instill those skills in our young generation, in our young students. And I totally resonate when you said that in the army, being an army officer's wife, I totally resonate what you said, that yes, in the army, my husband has often shared the line that you shared just now, that they bleed more in, in peace than in war. So that is one thing, the muscle memory that you've talked about. Even I have heard a lot about that from my husband, my father, who has also been in the army. So that's a wonderful learning I think all of us can have, and the things that you have shared, and especially the 3 things that you shared in the end, reflection, which is, sir, I feel that is waning away in the new generation. Reflection is a very important part, like, self-introspection, reflection about what we have done throughout the day or in a moment, and then understand what we can do better, I think makes our life more progressive. It has been an eye-opener for all of us here today, the kind of insight that you have shared, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My pleasure. If there are any questions, I don't mind taking that now.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure. So we have some questions here, sir. Give me a moment, sir. Saurabh, sir, can we have some questions? Do we have any questions for?
See, there are no questions. That's okay. Let's move on. I don't want to hold so many people. Let's move on. That's fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite.
Can I ask something?
Oh, sure. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. So we have a question. So there is a student called Akarshan who wants to ask a question to you. Go ahead, Akarshan. Go ahead. Akashan, go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful seminar. Sir, can you repeat the last 3 points which you have told us? Reflection, understanding, and the third one, please, sir.
Okay, so this is something that was said by Confucius. It's a wonderful quote. I always have this in my board. We learn by 3 ways. We learn by 3 methods. First, by reflection, it is the noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest.
So there is another question, sir.
Sure.
Just a moment, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, there is a question that a student has asked that so many of them are preparing for the government jobs, and so many of them, and the rest preparing for the private jobs. So they have a question which asks you that, are the skills same for the government job and the private jobs? Like, are they supposed to follow the same skill set? Like the skills that you have said, that we need to keep up with our curiosity, we need to keep up with our courage. So they want to know what steps they should take for preparation for their future civil administration jobs.
See, there are 2 ways of looking at it. One way is you ask yourself what you really want to become in life, whether it is a private job or a government job. Finally, it's a job. You're going to get paid. So you have to ask yourself what you want to really achieve in your life. You can take a private route, you can take a government route, or maybe at some point in time there could be an intersection, you can switch. All that is possible. But ultimately, what you want to become, that is more important. Is it about just getting a job, or is it about becoming successful in it? Now, the more important question is, how do I become successful in whatever I do? That is a more important job, or a more important question than whether I should take a government job or a private job. Because at the beginning of your career, I think it's very important that we set a clear goal. And if your goal is clear, and if you have thought through that, you have checked this, you've spoken to your mentor, you've spoken to your people, and you're clear this is what you want to achieve, then take any of these paths, and that's fine. But the interesting thing is, whatever I said, these are universal truths. It is applicable in all kinds of jobs, all kinds of employments, for somebody to eventually become successful. It is not just for getting a job. Maybe with 20 to 25% of what I just said, with that you can get a job. Because these days you can get a job with just some written test, which may or may not test all the competencies that is required. So getting a job is the easiest thing, actually speaking. But staying relevant in that job and becoming eventually successful and becoming the best version of yourself is the real goal and the real challenge. And if your vision is to become the best version of yourself, then all these skills, whatever we talked about, makes sense. I hope I answered your question.
That was a wonderful answer, Kumar sir. That was a wonderful answer. They need to really work on their skills, be it a government job or a private job. If they keep relevant and work on their employability skills, I think that would make a difference, whether they go for a government job or a private job. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, with all your permission, I would like to invite our next keynote speaker, Mr. Harjeet Kanduja. I welcome you, Harjeet sir.
My pleasure. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's great. Good to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. And we are so very pleased to be with you today. You have immense experience and you have immense knowledge, and we would like to learn from you today, all our students, because we are live on our Poddar media as well as the live session in the classrooms. So we would want to welcome you to our campus and would like to really devour what you have to share with us today.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. I will try to share my screen.
Sure, sir. Sir, as you share the screen, sir, can I also share your experience and expertise that you've had? Maybe some of them may have missed, that we have a really eminent personality with us today. So Harjeet sir is an international speaker, author, poet and visionary. He is also an HR leader, inventor and influencer. Harjeet sir has set multiple greenfield projects and has handled HR for large multinational organizations in various geographies, including India, US, and Canada. Sir is also a Thomson medalist from IIT Roorkee and has completed his management education from INSEAD. Sir is a certified practitioner of Six Sigma, SAP, HCM. He has been into design thinking, predictive index, data business excellence model. Sir has also been conferred with HR Leadership Award, Pride of Nation Award, HR Personality of the Year. Sir has been a guest faculty at IIM Ahmedabad, NIMS board member of Federation of World Academics. He has also been associated with various NGOs. Sir has a rich array of experience. Sir has presently, he's working as a senior vice president, human resource with Geo, and he's also has the expertise of working with Antilio Healthcare Solutions, Reliance Retail, Nicholas Pyramid. We are so pleased to welcome you to Poddar Group of Institutions.
Hope you are able to see my screen and you are able to hear me.
Yes, sir, we are.
So sorry for the initial chaos.
It's okay, sir. No problem
So
at all, sir.
before we move forward, please give me a huge round of applause. I don't know how you'll give it, but look, I do this beforehand because afterwards there is no guarantee. So moving on to today's topic, which is employability skills. Before we go to this topic, I want to give a statutory warning. This presentation has movie references, although no parental guidance is required. So it is not going to be like any other typical presentation. We are going to have fun here. And whatever I talk about, please try at your own risk. And all the images which I have used are for educational purposes. Copyright is with the owner. And in this presentation, what we will talk about is small things. And at the end of the presentation, if you are able to pick one thing, at least one thing, then whatever time we are spending is worth spending. Are we clear till now? Somebody say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
that's
sir.
great.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Go ahead, sir.
So this is the ground rule 1. Are you able to see the image?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the lady in the blue?
Yes, sir.
Now, thing is that the lady in the blue, you're able to see that this picture is a black and white picture. Somebody has done is somebody has put in lines on this picture which are of different color, and because of which you are able to see that it is your mind which is filling color into a black and white picture. And this is a ground rule. Why this is a ground rule which I am setting? Because I am also going to talk in parallels. That is why I talked about movies. I am going to give you parallels. Your mind is going to fill colors in the picture. And that is how we will learn in this session. Because, wow. Thank you for the music effect. So life is all about how we see things. You're able to, some of you might be able to see the lady in the picture, and some of you will be able to see the dollar in the picture. And that is what human resource is all about. You see money in people, and you see people in money. What do you see here? Anyone? What do you see here?
A girl enjoying her pastry.
A lady with a cake.
She's
So-
about to enjoy her pastry.
Look, that is the first important thing. The lady is not in focus, but still, what we are doing is we are describing this as
Sir, enjoying a meal?
a lady enjoying a cake or a lady enjoying a pastry. Important thing is focus. Here, the focus is on the cake. So, in your like when you are defining your career, you are going to look at many things. If you get distracted by the other things which are not in focus, then that is not an optimal thing for your career. Try to focus on something, and wherever your focus lies, now I will tell you how to focus and what to focus on. I was in a college, and I was talking to one of the guys. So after the whole seminar, it was a similar kind of seminar. So he asked me an interesting question, because everyone was talking there about you should have good attitude, and if you have a good attitude, that is going to help you. So he said, I have a very good attitude, but I am not getting a job. And I laughed for a couple of minutes. I said, do you eat cake? He said, yes, I eat cake. I said, what do you like about cake? He said, all the cream and like the visual effect of the cake. I said, that is attitude. But what you eat is not the cream. You eat the cake. So your functional skills have to be there for attitude to make them good. If somebody gives you just cream, that is not going to help you. So you have to build your functional skills, and on functional skills, if you have attitude, that makes you a better person, that makes you more employable. So you must be thinking, what is this guy talking about? Anyone comes and says communication skill is the most important skill. You know who this guy is?
Stephen Hawking.
Yes. And who is he?
Scientist.
One of the best scientists the entire world has got. Can he speak? So look, when we talk about communication and attitude and all the other softer skills, it finally comes to what is the content you are carrying, what is the skill you are carrying. So if this guy can be employable with all the problems he has and can become the best in the world, then who is stopping you? Acha, here comes what is more important. So let's discuss that piece. Knowledge is more important, or skill is more important, or attitude is more important. And Panditji is like HR, human resources. We do matchmaking of organizations and people. So we help them marry each other. Okay, आप लोगों का कुंडली मिलता है, your कुंडली matches with each other, so you should hire this guy. That is what is coming from Pandit. What is more important? You know this guy? He is a judge, right? What is that judge carries? It is knowledge. Judge is all about knowledge, that you read the entire law books and then you hear people and decide. So this entire profession is built on knowledge, although no profession is built on only knowledge. But this profession is 70% knowledge. Can you think of a profession which is totally skill based? Anyone?
Acting.
Yeah, acting is skill based. Very good. Becoming a pilot. This is a skill based job. So you know how to drive a plane. Driving is a skill. So these kind of jobs are skill based jobs. And do you know which is like an attitude based job, where you just need an attitude and you will be successful?
Sir, I feel
This is one job where you just need attitude, nothing else. So now let's discuss, if you have an attitude, if you have a skill, and if you have knowledge, among these three, who is the highest paid? Is attitude the highest paid? Is the skill the highest paid? Or is knowledge the highest paid?
Sir, all.
It is not all.
Skill.
Our society clearly categorizes
So the
that
knowledge.
knowledge is paid the highest. After that, skill is paid, and after that, attitude is paid. I will give you another example, then you will understand even better. This is a show which is completely knowledge based. कौन बनेगा करोड़पति? 9 बज गए
Yes,
क्या?
sir.
Right? So this is a knowledge based job. This is a knowledge based show. Can you tell me a skill based show which comes on TV? Think of
Indian Idol.
sir,
Oh my God, you are right. It is Indian Idol. It is a skill based show. And tell me an attitude based show.
Master Chef.
Huh?
Sir, Master Chef too.
Master Chef 2 is a skill based show. Because what you are doing is you are
Yes.
taking your skill.
Maybe Big Boss, sir. Maybe Big Boss.
Big Boss, Roddy.
Attitude based.
Attitude based is roadies.
Yes.
You just need attitude to be there on roadies. You try money for this. One Banega Crorepati gets 5 crores or 7 crores. Indian Idol gets 50 lakhs. And roadies get 34,766 rupees. This is how our society treats attitude. What you are paid for is knowledge, then skill, and then attitude. If you make a combination of these, then results are much higher, or returns are much higher. Like you can go on KBC and show attitude to Amitabh Bachchan. Maybe you will win the money, but you will not win the respect of people because you treated their hero not in the way he should be treated. That is what the difference is. Now let's talk about which skills are important. So in the last session, you asked a question which was a very pertinent question, that we are preparing for government jobs and private jobs, and are the skills different? Look, any job we talk about, first understand what are the jobs which are available in the entire ecosystem. So this is another caution. Not all skills are employable. So you might have certain skills, but they will not fetch you money. So let's talk about the first profession. What is this guy doing? You were talking about Master Chef. This is
Cooking.
operations. Yeah. You were saying something.
The guy in this picture is cooking, is making something.
He's making something. You know, you pick up any profession, like if you see cricket, the players who play on the field, that is operations. That is a tough job. It might seem easy to you, okay, how it is done. Same way, if there is a cook or a master chef who is preparing a dish, he is standing in front of fire, or she is standing in front of fire, and all that heat is getting absorbed by the body. So without operations, there is no business. This is the most critical part of any business. Like if you are in a Parle-G factory, in Parle-G factory, what is operations? Making Parle-G. I am not promoting Parle-G. It was just an example. So operations is the base of any business. Like in government also, if you have to do something, if you have to get a plan implemented, so the base is operations. Once you have the operations, then you have to sell it to. So you know, salesman of the year. Sales is very important. Suppose you have opened a hotel, or like this guy opened his food truck. The next thing was how to bring people so that they can taste your food, or who can understand how your operations is. If you are in a government job, you have designed the Pulse Polio program. So somebody will have to sell that program also. If you're seeing operations, so operations is like there are people who have to make sure that this is getting executed in each and every place in whatever district or whatever city you are going for. You have to travel to those places and you have to get that happen. Sales is you have to sell it to them first before so that people can consume whatever you are offering. And if you remember this movie, this guy was less of sales, rocket science. He was more about service, that we will give you the best service, and if you give the best service, that is when the sales happens. This is the picture of service, that what you are doing is you are supporting somebody, you are supporting your customers with the required information or whatever is needed by the entire hospitality industry actually works on service. So if you have done hotel management, those guys understand the meaning of service very well. That is more about listening to the customer, and it is the service which actually sells the product. And fourth is finance. So here focus is not on Salman Khan, focus is on the person who is standing next to him. If you remember in this movie, this
The
guy.
voice is breaking.
How is it any better? Is it better?
Yeah, it is now.
Okay.
Better.
Is it better now?
Yes, sir, far better. Far better. Sir.
So this is finance. If you remember this movie, in this movie, this guy was taking care of finance, and not many people understand how finance works. So if you have a skill in finance, then chances of people listening to you are much, much more. So each and every business is built on these four pillars: operations, sales, service, and finance. You have to figure out you have interest in which area. Whether you want to do operations, whether you want to do sales, whether you want to do service, whether you want to do finance. All the four are tough. It is not that any one is easier. Then what should you choose? That is another question which will come to your mind, that if these are the four pillars, you might be thinking, where did HR go? So I'm talking about your basic pillars, and if you see HR as a function that comes under operations.
Sir, you are not audible properly.
Okay.
Kindly check your side. He is absolutely fine. We are able to hear him.
Actually, someone is.
Connection, please. Lavina, mute yourself.
Okay. So which one should you choose? Which function should you choose? So fundamental is whatever makes you happy, and like this section, what we are talking about is an important concept. If you understand this concept and try to implement it, then it will be easier for you to make a choice. And here the focus is on the girl. She was looking for happiness, and she has to find where her happiness lies. So consider yourself as the heroine of this movie. Don't get into the gender issue. Even if you are a person, try to see yourself as a person and then try to find happiness, that where your happiness lies. Second is what you are good at. So Akshay Kumar is good at doing stunts because that is where his strength lies, and that is what he does. So find out where your strength is. If your strength is in operations, if you're good at maths, try your luck at finance. If you are good at making things happen, maybe options is your thing. And if you're an expert, you like talking to people, then maybe sales is your domain. And if you're good at serving people, if you like helping people, then service is something which you should consider as the function of your choice. Third important thing is what world needs. So if you work on something which is required by people, then chances of you getting, then you will be relevant all the time. If you see this particular star or this particular movie, this movie is about toilet, and maybe that is an important problem which our government was trying to solve, and somebody created a movie on this so that there is more awareness. And that is how this entire business works, that whatever is needed by customers, you start focusing on that so that you can remain relevant for more amount of time. And fourth is what you are paid for. Don't get into say a image conscious mode that what will I do, what will I not do. Important is that whatever skill, like earlier also we discussed, not all skills are relevant or not all skills are employable. Look for the skills for which people are ready to pay money. As of now, there are technology jobs which are fetching a lot of money. So in case you want to build your career on technology side by picking up few courses on IT skills, again, that depends upon what your preference is. And this concept is called Ikigai. What you love, what you're good at, what you're paid for, and what the world needs. If you are able to match all the four, then you are in the perfect slot and you will never regret anything. Otherwise, try to see where you want to, which quadrant. You should get at least the best of 3 quadrants. In that case, you will never be sad. So whatever you are good at, whatever you love, and whether people are ready to pay for it or whether world needs it, based on that combination, you should define what is that you want to do. And finally, there are 2-3 points which I will give you. You remember this girl? You know who this is? She's the badminton player who made the entire country proud. Saina. And you would have heard that how much hard work she puts in, or she had put in her life to reach that slot. But travel to her badminton court itself was 2 hours, one way going and one way coming. I have lived in Hyderabad. Based on that, I am telling you, it is not an easy job to get up early and travel for 2 hours to make it to a badminton court when you have no visibility of where you are reaching or what you're going to do in this profession. If you just keep putting your hard work, chances of you becoming successful and chances of you becoming big will be much, much more. Second important piece is, look, when lockdown was there, lockdown started. So my dry cleaner called me. So I picked up the phone. He asked me, "Sir, do you need vegetables?" I was like, I again looked at the phone, whether it is driver, whether it is dry cleaner or who is this? It was dry cleaner only. I said, "Boss, your core competency is dry cleaning. How come you are selling vegetables?" He said, "Sorry, sir, my core competency is not cleaning. My core competency is adaptability. Till yesterday, you needed dry cleaning, so I was doing dry cleaning. Today, you need vegetables, so I'm selling vegetables." So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are adaptable based on what the world needs, then chances of you becoming successful will be much, much more. And you must be thinking, what Dhobi light all about? Now, my dry cleaner is one of the biggest vegetable sellers in the entire area, and he is selling vegetables online. So the way these guys have taken dry cleaning online, he has taken vegetable selling online, and he is making a lot of money. I envy him for that. So these are another two stories. One story is in the picture. So this lady actually got into Uber, and then she figured out that the Uber driver was none other than Prabjeet Singh. Prabjeet Singh is the Uber India president. So he himself was driving the Uber to understand how and what kind of environment his drivers face, or what kind of the experience his drivers are getting. This is something which is very inspiring and very relevant. And it is not only Prabjeet Singh. I have seen many business leaders at the top going and dirtying their hand at the front line, because if you don't do operations on your own, then you improve the business. So many business leaders actually fold their sleeves and start doing the operations job themselves, and that is why operations is very, very important for anyone to reach the top. Second is why I chose this picture, because I wanted to tell a story to all of you. I was traveling in a Uber, and I saw that this guy had completed some 5,000 trips, and his rating was 4.9 stars. I asked him, how did you manage that? 4.9 stars in 5,000 trips. He said, sir, in the very first week of driving, I realized that this job is not about driving. I got this job because I have driving license, I know how to drive. But this job is not about driving. People, my customers, rate me on my conversation with them, whether my cab is clean or not. So I have to focus on all the complementary skills so that they can rate me higher. And that is why my rating is higher, and I am awarded as one of the best drivers by the Uber. So understand this concept, remember this concept, that the reason because of which you get the job and what makes you successful in that job are two different things. It is the attitude, the complementary skills, but you get the job for the core skill which is required for that job. So knowledge, skill, and attitude all are important. You need to know where they are placed. And I believe that's what I have to talk about. In case you liked some of the stories, you can read more of such stories in my book, Nothing About Business. Or you can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I try to regularly post stories of this nature there.
Thank you so much, Harjeet sir. Thank you so much. We have really enjoyed all the stories. So did I interrupt you?
No. That's fine. I'm almost done.
Sir, we literally enjoyed all the stories that you shared with us today. It is definitely our pleasure to have you with us here today, and I would really like to thank you on behalf of all the students and on behalf of all the faculty members who have joined and who are seeing you live. My key takeaway points from your session, the entire session was excellent, sir. We really enjoyed. My key takeaway points, I have been making note of certain points here. And the three domains that you had mentioned, the knowledge, skills, and attitude. And The turning point was especially when the boy came up to you and said that he has a good attitude, but he's not been able to fetch a job for himself. And you showed us those pictures, and I learned that yes, attitude does play an important role, but it is of course termed in the, if we see the, it is termed in the the quarter that you had mentioned, that first is of course the knowledge, which is very important, second is the skills, and third is the attitude. And of course the happiness, which lies in finding our strengths and what we are good at. And you have shared certain points which I think our youngsters would really benefit from, because they are always in a tussle to understand what skills they require, what employability skills actually they require for the professional world. And you have made it extremely crystal clear for them, sir. Wonderful, wonderful session, sir. We thoroughly enjoyed. And a warm round of applause to you, of course, in the end as well, as you had said that, but you will not miss on that, because everybody has benefited from the session that you have had today with us. And we are really, really thankful to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time from Poddar Group of Institutions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we would move on to our next.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, could you please explain operations again?
Sir, they have a question for you.
Yep. I got the question. Operations is the base of anything you do. If you are into, like I showed in the slides also, if you have to run a restaurant, so why will people come to your restaurant? They will come to eat. So if they are going to come to your restaurant to eat, that means you have to prepare food. So preparation of food is operation. Basically, whatever you are delivering to customers, making that is operation. We also talked about the example of cricket. That why people go to watch cricket? Because players play. So that is the operations for cricket. There are many other people. There is a physiotherapist, there is a trainer. They don't come on the field. What is operations? Operations is they are playing. Same way, if you go to any FMCG company. So suppose we are talking about say Unilever. So Unilever has say X number of products. That is what customers buy. Products. So the people who make those products in their factories, that is operations. Fine. So managing the entire ecosystem of running the core of what is to be delivered to the customers is operation. Neha, have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Harjeet, sir. Thank you so much. There's another question for you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Akash, go ahead. Sir is kind enough to spare his time with us today.
Question in with all of us.
Look, any job is, there is no job in the world which is without any of these components. Each job requires knowledge, skill, and attitude. So, like if you go to McDonald's and you ask for a burger, one is the operations part of it, that the guy is going to take the patty and make the patty. So making the patty is the skill. Knowing how to make the patty is the knowledge. And making sure that कि अगर ब्रेड जमीन पे गिर गया तो वो जमीन से उठा के वापस लगा के कस्टमर को, you don't have to serve it that way. And again, how you are serving it to customer. like throwing it on the table. I went to a restaurant. There, the guy threw the whatever food items are, have these, and we were like, "Give us what?" Point is, passing the product with a warmth, so that customer feels like having that product, is something which is attitude. Now, if you are not making the product right, customer is not going to come to your shop. If your attitude is not right, then also customer is not going to come to your shop until unless you are making a product which is extraordinary. And knowledge is how to make a product or how to deal with it. Now, each and every job requires knowledge. If you see a product manager will be high on knowledge, that this guy knows how to build a product. That if somebody is defining menu for McDonald's, that guy will be sitting and looking at what customers are looking for, and across India, what are the taste buds, which are the new flavors you can introduce. So you work on information, crunch that information, and then bring the beauty out of it, that this is based on my knowledge, I recommend this new product. And then you prepare SOPs and manuals which people read and gain that knowledge, and their skill basically lies in preparing that burger and serving it to customers. I hope, Akarshan, I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I wish I could see your face. I saw like a scary skeleton, and your name is Akarshan. So that is like.
Sir, it was for Halloween.
Okay. So that was very contradictory. That if this is Akarshan, then oh, you're much better than the image which you have put. You should put your image. That will look even better.
Sir, actually, I love Halloween.
Chalo, good. Do what you love. That is more important.
Thank you, Harjeet sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harjeet sir.
अच्छा सर, आपने कहा था do what make you happy. आपने कहा था, मतलब आपका स्टेटमेंट है, that's what he is doing.
हाँ, बिल्कुल सही है, बिल्कुल सही है. देखिए, लाइफ में खुश रहना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है.
Absolutely.
अगर खुश नहीं है ना, तो उसके बाद वो मतलब एक लेवल के बाद पैसा कमा के भी समझ में नहीं आता उसका करेंगे क्या.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite all our eminent experts that we have lined up for our panel discussion today here. I extend a hearty welcome to all of them. And we have an array of experts with us here again. We have Malini Lakshman, Dharmender Khanna, Tiwari, Dr. Ankita Singh, and Dr. Anush Tripathi. Ma'am Malini Lakshman, she is an HR leader in Bangalore. She is an engaging, focused and resilient human resource leader with 20 years of strong experience in the HR functions. She has in-depth knowledge of HR functions, including HR business partnering, employee relations, HR policy formulation, HR operations, strategic HR, talent acquisition, compensation, and benefit. She has an experience of leading the HR, corporate governance, and employee relations HR policies with Synergy International Limited. She has worked there as Assistant General Manager HR. Then we have amongst us Dr. Ankita. Dr. Ankita is working as a Senior Vice President and Global Head HR, IT, Admin, Travel at Cygnus, and she's also the founder of HR Association of India. She has previously worked with Datamatics, Hexaware, Genstar, Convergys, and Sahara India. She has over 22 years of progressive experience in managing and leading various aspects of human resources spanning across high-paced business domains of ITIS. In addition to all functions of HR, Ankita ma'am oversees other enabling functions like administration, travel, and resource management. Then we have Dharmender Khanna sir. Mr. Khanna has a rich 20 years experience. He has been involved in leadership roles in emerging technology solution and aligning technology to business goals. His expertise lies in innovative marketing, communications, and promotional campaigns to capture and retain a respectable market share in a fiercely competitive market scenario. He's quite effective in applying design thinking and translating it into customer-centric deliverables. With his versatile experience, he has significantly contributed to the growth and development of the companies he has been associated with. Mr. Khanna has a forte in enabling cross-functional leadership and driving team efforts to generate work synergies to maximize operational efficiency. Some of the honors and awards which Mr. Khanna has received, they are Retail Tech Icon, Physical Retail Convention, Images Retail Forum, November 2021, and Retail Icon of the Year, UBS Forums in association with Arvind Internet Limited. Sir has vast experience. He has worked as Senior Business Reporting Analyst. He has also worked as Senior Manager with Global Employee Training, and presently he is working with Oracle India Private Limited. We welcome you, sir.
You mixed two introductions. I am working as country head in Any Mind Group. And
okay, sir. I'm sorry about that, sir. I'm sorry about that.
Thanks for your kind words, and I'm so glad to be here and discussing
on it, sir.
Yeah.
We also have with us Dr. Anuj Tripathi. He is a Six Sigma practitioner, researcher, PhD in Business Intelligence Solutions Management. He has over 12 years of experience now, and he has been helping businesses to improve their profitability by leveraging cutting-edge IT solutions. He has his expertise in exploring technology and organizational capability from the perspective of marketing. And he also has an experience of leveraging work from home for business continuity during COVID-19 pandemic with reference to BI solution adoption. He has led business intelligence solutions and market trends. He has also led intelligent automation planning implementation. He is also a certified in content marketing from HubSpot Academy. He is a founder of Strategic Business Analytics by Essex Business School, France. He has a diploma in cybersecurity for business from the University of Colorado, USA. He has also a diploma in cryptocurrency from Shaw Academy. We welcome you, sir, for the panel discussion. And I would also request and welcome Mr. Saurabh Munjal, the training head, the training and placement head with the Poddar group of institutions. I welcome all the panel members to the Poddar group of institutions.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
So am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. So first of all, the welcome all the very diverse and the well-experienced and eminent speakers. And I hope the session will be very fruitful. So to the begin, when we talk about the training and placements, or when we talk about the placements, we have seen the many changes before and after the pandemic. So very opening question is, what are the major changes in the jobs? So may I have the firstly to hand over to Mr. Dharmendra. Please answer what are the major changes in the pre and the post-pandemic jobs?
So, pre-pandemic, there was some inconsistency in demand, in consumption. Pandemic gave us two elements. One, there has to be empathy. Corona got us Karuna. We are more evolved about what is happening around us. And that also gives you a students, you know YOLO, you only live once. So the consumption tremendously. People are spending because you only live once, you never know. Tomorrow there's a war. They're actually saving, they're actually investing. Crypto investment all-time high. There's a crypto expert who will understand. Stock market investments has grown tremendously in India. It's around 3 to 4%, sub 5% till now in India. The number of investors who actually invest in crypto, overall investors. People still like to invest in traditional FDs and all, but it's moving on. And there's a lot of digital adoption. So having said that, now I tell you where's the shift happening. People are adopting to internet businesses. People are adopting to new age investments. So the new age fintech companies is growing tremendously. The new age fintech company has shorter, smarter loans, which are quick. You want some 5 lakh rupees, you do some transaction, you buy some product, you pay back in 6 months, 12 months, no collaterals. They understand your credit CIBIL history, and the AI gives me an insight that whether I'll be able to pay back or not. Every e-commerce company has buy now, pay later. Even the smallest product of 2000 has BNPL available, so that I can buy right now, I can pay back later, because they know even if there was a lockdown, everything was stopped, we were still earning. My knowledge was valued. I was able to deliver some value in some organization as a freelancer or a regular employee. So that fear almost gone. Although I would still say there is very high risk. Do invest at least 25 to 30% of your income in savings, in futuristic saving. That is what our forefathers did, and that is why what we are today, the country we have, very strong in market, with a very strong base, because we always had savings with us. We always had land banks, gold, that helped us. Second, I would say demand. So retail was delivering, serving, even then when we were scared to even step out of our house in 2020. So your local Kirana guy was active, was making sure you got something or got whatever he sells. He was also making sure you get whatever he may not be even selling. I know Kirana guy was selling, wax for your, women use those for hair removal. They were selling shavers. They were selling, epilators. Those things were unheard of. They were selling they were a traditional Kirana retail, but they realized their customer had a demand, and they created the category. They arranged the product even within no time and delivered to our homes. So retail will continue to be existing, growing, stronger, farther, upwards, and there's no dearth of expansion of retail. It's a 1 trillion. It contributes to 10% of India's GDP and 10% of India's employment. So retail is a very strong sector. Out of retail, 8% of transaction happens through internet. So 84 billion is in e-commerce, out of which 5 billion, 5 to 10 billion is just D2C brands who just started in COVID times or just few years before COVID times and just became popular because they had a good product. They removed the middleman, the entire supply chain, they controlled themselves, the entire operations, they managed themselves through technology tools, and they delivered best of the milk to your home, best of the coffees to your home, best of the groceries to your home, best of the fashion to your home, best of the jewelry to your home. 4-5 years back, or even when I was child, nobody could even think buying a milk besides, I'm in North, so Mother Dairy and Amul were the only two milk suppliers. Besides that, a Dudwala would used to supply. I have at least 10 D2C brands supplying milk to my society now. There is White, there is Milk Basket, there is A2 milk, there is organic milk, there is so many types of milk now. There is camel milk, there is soy milk, and there are brands to sell that. And same example, there was Nescafe, Brew, and a couple of other coffee that we used to sell. There are 10 more coffee D2C brands making amazing product, delivering to your home, right? Fashion, you've seen, there is Levi's and there are hundreds of denim brands. Everyone loves it. There is Da Milano, High Design, and hundreds of handbag brand, and women loves to carry it. Time, this generation, Gen Z, is fast fashion. They want to carry the brand. They will be able to carry this brand, this product well. It doesn't matter what that the price needs. They will buy it, and they know their life cycle is not like my parents. They probably would wear 5 or 10 years. My dad would still wear a shirt for the last 5 or 10 years. My daughter just buys for 6 months, one season. Second year, if I tell you this is last winter's jacket, why don't you wear it again? She would not buy it. Or probably she'll buy for 2 years, 2 seasons, that's it. They know this is fast fashion, they're buying it for some time and they don't want to spend too much on this. So the trend, the shifts are happening. What I want to say is, you can, the deviation which is happening from traditional retail, even if you are a traditional retailer, you can be a mom and pop store or brick and mortar store or a local kirana store. You have to be evolved. What is your customer demanding? Immediately enable supply for the demand. And I can give you one more example. Sorry, I'm going back to retail. In India, there is JIT model, just-in-time model. Internet, we've been telling JIT we will build. During 26 January, the entire signals, red lights of my city would have someone selling a flag, national flag. In Valentine's, they'll be selling hearts, roses, right? In Holi, they'll be selling pichkaris. In Christmas, they'll be selling Santa hats. So those are the people who understand aaj demand hai. They will create the product, they will sell it, go back to the supplier, tell the next festival is coming, buy the product, replace it. You had to be so sharp with technology, without technology. You had to be sharp, you had to be keep evolving. You can do any business now. And rather than employment, become an employer. Start your own. Just need to focus on 4 P's you're telling you. Price, product, place, and promotion. Price, if you are a D2C brand, you taken care entire supply chain, middleman, distributor, CNF agent, aapko kuch nahi chahiye, you can beat Unilever. Place your product next to the Unilever, create a good product as good as Unilever. And if the shopkeeper doesn't give you the shelf space, make your own website. Do a right marketing, performance marketing, CRM, loyalty program, and you'll be able to thrive with your customer base. I was not a very big fan of loyalty programs. I thought that loyalty programs are dead. There were so many cards people carry for loyalty. They forget about it. They don't use it. I've been first citizen member. Most of us would be first citizen member of Shop or Stop. And people forgot that iska karna kya hai. But then COVID realized me that my customers who were coming back to me worst time was my loyalty customers were calling me on WhatsApp, video call करके चाहे भेज दो 10 days. The same customer for 10 minutes at the cash counter was willing to wait for 10 days because he has to do a fitness regime. उसको running करना है, उसको Nike का shoes चाहिए. They were wait to support us in any way, and that is the only cash flow I had during those lockdown months in 2020. And those customers, I can't. I am now running, and everyone now has brands have started running loyalty program. No physical cards. Your face is your you'll go to Chayos, you put in your phone number or your face. Your entire loyalty spends comes into it. You know what free chai or a free upgrade you have. You Starbucks or Nike or all for that matter, any brand you now go. Your face or your phone number becomes your loyalty program, and then there is points that you have, and you will be able to redeem that. So make a good CRM engine, have a very good retention program, and very good AI base or a segmentation. So there are few sets of customers. One is a deal seeker. People like me only go in end of season sales or whenever there is discount. But people like my daughter or Gen Z, most of them who are in call right now, will shop when there is the latest product. They don't care about full price or discount or not. They need the right price, but they need the latest fashion. They would not go in end of season sale. She will not buy. My daughter will not buy. Some of your kids here will not even prefer कि college में सब पहन चुके हैं, अब मेरे को नहीं लेना. They want the latest one. So you can do a segment of various type of customer and target your CRM very strongly. On placement, you can start with online, easiest, explore marketplaces, but do have a strategy of placing on retail store also. Retail is 10 times bigger than online, and it will continue to grow. So for me, I've been from e-commerce and retail. I say e-commerce, retail is a very big market, explore that. And within that, IT, operations, HR, sales. Sales is the blue-eyed, team of management. जो business लाता है, वो हमेशा star होता है. और sales सबके बस की बात नहीं है. That is also, I believe, you had to have that zeal, a passion about sales and your product, and then you can bring any volumes to your business. And some of you maybe recall, we have sold gobar ka upla, cow dung cake in shop clues, and we made a PR story out of it, right? And people press picked it as satire, but then we use that as a PR to grow on that we can sell anything in this India. And we were targeting exactly that segment, people who don't want to step out, and people who are still rooted from the are connected to their roots. Yeah, so that's what I'll say. India is huge. Retail has not reached, e-commerce has not reached even 10% of India right now. The highest in Southeast Asia, the country which say caters to percentage of retail is 40-45%. We are 8%. Our internet penetration has gone 4 times in last 3 years. Our smartphone devices have become smarter, heavier, faster, but the internet has grown just 2 or 2.5%. So the scope from here in next 3 years is phenomenal, but that doesn't mean retail will not grow or thrive or subside. It will continue to grow. So I think that's what I'll summarize for the future. And India will continue to be a very strong economy. India and China are continue to grow in even the worst situation across the globe, across our borders, left, right, not right, Bangladesh is still thriving. Left, Pakistan is in mess. In south, Sri Lanka is in mess. But India is thriving in this worst situation as well and continue to grow. We are in a situation when China was in 2003, 2004. So from here, the upside is immense. Choose your career nicely, wisely, but do it very passionately. And if you do it passionately, India is ready to take you with the open arms, and grow with you passionately. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak about this point.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I think you have elaborated very well. And if I have to take away some points, you have to be very quick. Means it is whether it's a fintech, whether retail, you should cut time. Then your job is successful.
Correct.
So may I request Dr. Ankita, your points, your views on this one?
Thank you so much. I think the content has already been extensively covered beautifully. But I would want to, in a more generic form, add on to what he just said. See, earlier when we were working, pre-pandemic, when we talk, we had experts in the organization, and now we have generalists as well. So earlier there was an expectation, if you're a finance person, probably you can always be a finance person and you can excel in the same field. Similarly for HR, for IT people, but during pandemic, you would have seen that people went ahead with cross-functional training as well, because there's no key of the future ahead. People accepted that we have to be more prepared, we have to have more skills to survive the change environment. So I quoted as a more generalist approach, where we had acceptance of learn, and the same to pass on to students as well. As I Harjeet also mentioned, your skill set, your expertise is important, but the third one, attitude, which you have to stay open to learn more, to be more relevant. And when we talk about post-pandemic, the relevance is getting defined as per days. I mean, there's nothing which is consistent. Earlier, we were able to make a plan in 10 years. Now people are saying we don't know where we will be in 6 months. So we have to be really ready, keeping that in mind. Second is, earlier, we were living more in present. That this is what I have to learn to handle my current job. And my next appraisal will be on this particular date. I have to ensure that I have achieved 5 rating in all the parameters. Now, every individual, even students, I'm sure when you are studying, at the same time, you're also exploring where else I can do my summer training, what else I can learn, what additional certification I can cover, so that when I sit for an interview, there is a little more acceptance. I can come up with a differentiator that's needed. There are 10 people and I become a highlight because I have done few more things. So that's the second difference. Earlier, pre-pandemic, we were living, we were making it beautiful, and we were working and learning. Now people are future. We know that things may change and will change, and it's not that we have to be perfect present, but we have to have a future ready career as well. Third, I would say it was all about sources. We also hiring. We were saying that you feel at what you are doing, or this is requirement of our. And if you are an expert, or if you're really good, if you have a past experience in that, you are select. We say that's good. You have done projects. You have live expertise. You have live experience. But the thing is, what if tomorrow this project is over and we have to make a complete shift from other project? Will you be ready? And if the answer is like, you know what, I'm still comfortable and I would want to grow in this particular skill set, and I would not want to make a switch, there's a we don't know if that skill set or if that project or product or service will remain after 2 to 3 years, and if it's long term. So because there's no clarity, 100% surety on future or about future, it is really important that we are more open to learn and upskill. And earlier, the employees also, students also, they were all skilled. They come up with the educational background, and that was the full stop. That we know everything what is required for this job. Today, as an organization, we do ensure that 70% of training program is driven by us. But trust me, without even talking, 30% of our employees and students, they are investing in themselves. That means they do research what's happening in the market, what market is predicting, where we as holistic group will stand in next 5 years and 10 years, and we are defining our own chart according to that. So that's the individual responsibility, and that's a major shift that I have seen pre and post pandemic in job. And the last one, I would say, earlier people were more stuck to core, that this is what I've done, that do the people I read, these are the few locations that I would prefer to work from. They were stuck. They were stuck since they were not open. They were not flexible enough to explore as per their capability. I believe at least each individual, if they are giving enough to self-investment, same time the company, college, they are playing their part. Most of us, and if we are not careless, we are capable of doing much more than what we can believe or assume. And I think mindset has defined where I've seen people earlier, even organizations used to say experience is really important, and 4-year experienced person cannot lead a team. A person with 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience, if that individual holds the capability and can prove, at least they are getting a chance, because they are ready to move away from the core of traditional approach. They are more open, they are more flexible, they are ready to become a collaborative partner of the entire system. So these are the 4 points I would say that at least in a generic way, I have seen pre and post pandemic. And to conclude, I would say organizations earlier, they were working with people, and then they moved to a stage where they were working through people. But today, every organization or institutes, they are working with people. It's completely up to us that how much of ourselves we are ready to extend and contribute and connect, so that they both can come together and fetch magical results. Thank you. That's all from my end.
So your mic is off.
Yes, sir. You are mute, sir.
Also,
Very well, sir. Now I'm okay. The one should be very cross-functional, and because the institution or the organization are working with people, you must contribute in the organization development in every way. That is the main key takeaway I take from you. And now, may I request Ms. Manli Lakshman.
Thank you to Poddar Institute for having invited me. And I also would like to wish all the audience here a happy Yugadi. We celebrate in Bangalore the new year today. So I really would like to wish everyone on this lovely occasion. I also would like to say that I am now associated with Agati Clinical. Just wanted to correct that introduction. So having said that, I think the other panelists have really covered very good points. What really has changed from the pre-pandemic to the post-pandemic is, I think, everybody has changed in terms of the mindset. I think everybody has become very flexible and open in terms of their thinking. So what really does it transform into? I think we've all learned to be adaptable. And the world, not only the corporate world, but at every aspect, we have learned to look at things in a very new perspective, new way. Earlier, we had the thought of knowledge is power, but not really. It is not just knowledge. Having knowledge is power, but it is about sharing and accessing knowledge is power. So just look at how could we have survived if people were not really being collaborative during the pandemic. People were not really sharing what was the best practices. People were not being agile in terms of learning, right? So each one of us have really learned a lot and been on the learning phase continuously. Today, we are working on different models of business. So back to the students, what I would say is the learning, whether it's the post-pandemic or the pre-pandemic, I think it's a continuous learning phase. And what is important and what has worked very well that you all have to all carry back is please ensure that you have the learning, the instinct of learning what you would like to do on an ongoing basis. The aspect of networking and gaining knowledge, I think that is very important. Being very focused on your career, being collaborative. These are very important aspects which has been the key strings of success for each individual, whether it is in a very internet world or outside the world. It's all about what is your agility to learn and flexibility to learn. So I think from all the audience and the students' perspective, I think it is about learning agility, which has to be on an ongoing basis.
Thank you, ma'am. I believe now the economy is the knowledge driven. So one must grab the knowledge. One must be take it from every corner of the world. You can take knowledge from your institute, from an organization, from your neighbor, or even from your rivals. You should grab it. So if I have to conclude for this question, today job to have been the more technology based, with the more time cutting or time paced, and the more cross functional. You cannot stick on a single function or the single domain. You can give your expertise in different domains and different areas, and definitely your knowledge should be on a growing base. You grow your knowledge and move on. And so I have to move on the second question with the limitation of the time. Today we have seen if we talk about any organization, the HR professionals are always on a driver's seat because they have to hire people who can drive your organization, who can run in an efficient manner. So my question is that what are the changes or how the HR people are now hiring? What are the new trends of the hiring, and what are the qualities you are looking in the employees for the new employees? So may I request from Ms. Neelam Tiwari to answer on this one.
Thank you, Sauravji, and happy welcome and Chaitra Navratri to everyone. It's a new year for all of us and a very nice topic to begin the year with, employability skills. So as we have, all the panelists have set up the agenda. In continuation, 2021 was no longer back. There is a change in the shift how we have seen, and that includes in the recruitment as well. So what are we looking for? So employability basically means your professional knowledge and the skills which are required so that you can do the job successfully. So if we look at it, basically it is a continuous learning apart from a positive attitude that I can do it. That is one thing which definitely is looked for. Second, are you ready to learn? Are you creative? Are you able to adopt yourself? Are you resilient? So if you fail, do you have that capability that, you can pick up and start again? And then I think more is on about, learning new things and not restricting yourself. Like I think Ankita ma'am said that, it's no more that being an expert. It's more of, being jack of many things. So how well you can adopt, you manage your time and, also collaborate with people, take the decisions on time. And with the pandemic coming on, it is also important on the well-being thing. Like in Oracle, we are definitely looking for well-being of a person as one of the key things. So are you able to take your emotional, intelligence kind of a thing, or are you able to manage your emotions? So you may be going through something. Are you able to manage that? Can you reach out for a help, because mental health is also equally important along with your physical health. So these are something basically where it comes into employability. If something is given to you which you are not you are not trained for, So are you ready to pick that? Can you handle the work pressure of that? If the timeline is constrained one, are you able to adopt, stretch and take that load, or go and learn that particular skill and then say, yes, I can do this? And then if somewhere you are stuck, do you able to reach rather than, struggling inside and, failing at that level? So I think these are some of the skills which we are definitely looking for, apart from the professional, the technical skills which are required for the job.
So your mic is off.
When we talk about the skills, it is not only the technological skills. You must be in the emotional intelligence, your aptitude, your attitude also matters.
Yes.
So may I request Dr. Anand Tripathi to add on this? Dr. Anand Tripathi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Poddar Group of Institution, for inviting me here. So can you repeat your question once?
So what are the skill set that the HR people are looking in the employees?
Yeah, so I would like to add here what Neelam ma'am said, that earlier the core skill for which you are being hired was very much important. But right now, behavioral related skills are equally important for you to get a job. Likewise, the bigger population of skills is now converted to smaller segments. We call it sample. So likewise, when earlier any resource joins an organization, he gets a lot of helping hands in at physical location in office, and a lot of helping hands making him or her more capable towards executing the job. Now that has reduced, and sometimes we need to work as a single unit, is still contributing to the vision of the company per se. So that is the reason that adaptability, which was always in the demand in your HR interviews, now it has been reached to the level where expressiveness is equally important. So I can be a lot of adaptive, but can I express my concern to my colleague, my peers, or my managers? That is equally important. So one has to be expressive. And that is one skill which is quite relevant post-pandemic. Second thing which I feel is called entrepreneurial mindset. This entrepreneurial mindset is equally important nowadays, because when you work in a team, when you work for a company, you need to have an understanding of how I am contributing, and my contribution is resulting to what. If you are able to understand your importance, what is the vision of your team, how you are impacting the profitability, and other aspect, operational aspect, optimization aspect, customer satisfaction aspect. So you should understand that whatever I'm going to contribute or I'm skipping in the quality, that is going to badly impact the overall value of the organization. So this, whether you are not an entrepreneur, you are working in a company as an employee, the mindset has to be of entrepreneur. And students who are listening me, I hope you understand that what is the entrepreneurial mindset. You should practice it. You should understand. You should grow maybe a couple of skills within you, but you should have a bird eye view of an organization, that there are other departments parallelly whose plus and minus is going to impact the overall system that is there. Then the third skill is problem solver. In all aspect of our life, whether we are a student, whether you talk about colleges, schools, then we join our first organization, there are a lot of problems. But can you solve it? Can you at least have an attitude to solve it? Nowadays, whenever an employee, a resource is going for a team meeting, and they explain the problem, a certain question is going to come, do you have the possible solutions? So you are the person who needs to tell the problem and then the solution as well, because you are the closest person to that problem. And a certain solution can come and then your senior people, senior management can help to fine tune those solutions. So this is how I guess these are 2-3 skills which are quite relevant, and a part of your core skills, these behavioral aspect has to be taken in consideration while in educational system and even after that, when you have joined the organization, let's work to fine tune these skills. To conclude, one is adaptability, which was always there. Second is expressiveness. Third is entrepreneurial mindset, and fourth is problem solving skill. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And I believe you have given one answer in the hidden answer why a company should hire you. Always in the interviews, the most question is asking that why we should hire you. Tell something about that one. So you have given that answer. You should be a contributor. You should be a problem solver, so that the company should hire you. What you are giving to the companies. We are having one more expert with us, Mr. Kamlesh. May I request you to give some light on this one?
Thank you, Saurabh sir. Thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity. As rightly said by Dr. Anuj Tripathi, there is some all the basic skill sets are required in the industry. But there is specific word he used, that entrepreneurial skills. I want to say that in different way. That that's the intrapreneur. There is a specific word, intrapreneur. Being as an employee, we should always think like a owner of the organization, not like the employee of the organization. When we think like a owner of the organization, every plus minus whatever will happen. So we think like that these things will happen, then it will be affect our life. But being as an employee, sometimes we think like ठीक है चलता है क्या होगा बहुत होगा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा organization I can change. But it will not work. Actually, it will not work. How many times you can change your organization? So, being as a employee of the organization, we should think like an entrepreneur mindset. So, I'm 100% agree with all the panelists. They whatever skill set required, they have shared their experience. Thought they have enough experience. So, they are saying on the basis of their experience. Here is the HR leader and some other profile person. They know very well. So being as a student, we always think like that कि चलो ठीक है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में हम जाएंगे 10 से 5 वाला वो माइंडसेट पुराना हो गया वो कभी चलता था इवन दे से कि अरे कितना काम करते हो तुम लोग ऑफिस का काम केवल ऑफिस में रखो they may be think like that but now tradition has been changed even pandemic has changed our life dramatically sir there is no time I say there is no time technology has maybe if we will use technology in a positive way we will get a positive effect. But there may be sometimes because of technology we suffered a lot. पहले होता था ऑफिस में सिस्टम होता था they can say that no system is in office I cannot work. But now we cannot say like that. So all this the solution for all this only we should have a entrepreneurship mindset. So being an agent, please be prepare yourself when you will enter in the profession. You all need to face these kind of the challenges. So that's from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Just the ownership and the accountability is very must. You should take the responsibility and be responsible for that one. That's very much needed in the right now. So if I have to conclude the main skills apart from the technological skills, one must be strong in the emotional, strong in the and must be trainable, high with the attitude, and definitely the behavior skills matters. And the openness and the entrepreneurial skills must be there. You should take the accountability. So moving ahead, my next question is, if we talk about the culture is the foundation, then the ethics and the value system are taken as the bricks and the glues for the foundation of the organization. So what are the role of the value and ethics in the employability? So may I request once again to Dr. Ankita to give on some point on this one? How the values and ethics are important for the employability. Dr. Ankita, are you there? Okay. Okay. Then meanwhile, Neelam Tiwari, I think you can give the best answer for this one.
I can take this.
Yeah, please.
So yes, the culture, the ethics, the core values makes you as a person, right? And so what we learn through our birth, through our family, through our community, through our education system, is a part of you. So like we said, when you go for any work or any place or organization, one is the organization culture, ethics, policies which are created, you need to align with that. And then see that how your personal values, your core values, you can adopt and align with that, and thereby bring a value add to an existing business, to an existing culture. Now, if you notice from the pandemic, a lot of other skills and requirements have come in. Like everywhere, we suddenly start hearing the words empathy, kindness, diversity, inclusion. What does this actually mean at the root level? It only means that you are human, love yourself, and love the other human. See how you can extend a help if someone needs it. Someone may be expressive, someone may not be expressive. Yes, we say you need to be expressive. But when it comes to inferior people, introverts, it's very challenging for them to open up and say, I need help. But if you are observant and you're able to see that someone needs a help, that is your core value. You go and extend that extra help to him. Go and ask him. If someone is, does not belong to a straight female or a male, we call them, queers or transgenders, or someone may be gay and lesbian, doesn't matter. First, he is a human. So respect that. Reach out and say, start the conversation, treat him like one individual and ask him. There is no hesitation. You ask them, how do you want me to address you? That's the best way you can do it. Make them feel comfortable in your working environment. And you extend that first step, that baby step, rest things will follow. All of us are there only to work and do a value add to the business, to the organization. And what makes you a difference over there is your own core values, which you are exhibiting it every time. You need to be integral, we say integrity. It doesn't come with everyone, integrity and honesty, right? When do we say integrity? That you're supposed to do certain things. When your bosses or superiors are there, you're doing it 100%. But integrity is when no one is watching you, you're still following those right things, what is supposed to be done. So make sure that you keep that rule that irrespective of what happens, I'm going to do what is right. Right? So I think those are the core values, and we are blessed being an Indians that, these values are instilled in us through our childhood. So you just have to be a little more empathetic or kind towards self. I'm saying self because this pandemic is yet not over. There are still so many things. We need to take care of ourselves emotionally, physically, and also in our work, we need to perform, right? So first take care of yourself, and then see that if someone around you needs some help, extend that helping hand to them. Make other people around you inclusive, comfortable by accepting them the way they are. So I think that would bring the diversity and inclusion. And when it comes to diversity, I feel if we have a diverse team, it actually is a very competitive advantage for an organization and for a team, because you have different set of minds, different set of ideas and solutions which will pour in, rather than one mind and one solution. So if I have to exhibit your core value, be a little kind, extend the help, make the place more inclusive by accepting the people how they are, treat them as humans first, and respect the diversity and collaborate with people. Extend your thinking skills, that is your problem solving and decision making skills. Share it with people. Do not hesitate. Do not fall for credit. There are many times people fall for credit that this is my idea, I should get it. It's okay. You're there to, provide some value add to the business, to the organization. Focus on that. You will automatically get the credit at the right place. No one can take the work or the credit which you have brought in. So don't worry about that. Focus on the solutions collaboratively and create a win-win situation, a happy working, healthy environment. just by exhibiting your own core values. So build a strong core values and align them with your organization goals and values.
Thank you very much. Definitely, when today the companies are in a kind of the global village, when you are having the diverse employees from around the world, different religion, different race, you should respect each other. So may I request Mr. Dharmendra Khanna to please give some light on this one.
So yes, I totally agree with all other panelists, and especially Neelam, who said, don't worry for credit. When you are working for an organization, you are the team, you are the contributor, your value is there. And if you think your not being there will make a difference, please understand India has 1.2 billion people. If you leave, there will be hundreds of more coming in. And I see more and more trend coming in. People leave and come back for negotiation. They leave temporary. This phase will go. You will not be going a very long way. If you are driving value to the organization, give some time, and doesn't matter, small recognitions come or not, eventually it will come. And over a period of time, it doesn't work out, you have two options. If there is 1.2 billion people in country, there are hundreds and millions of organizations also. And there is hundreds and millions of opportunity to start your own business as well. So be very open-minded, be patient, always be a team player. The organization never works through individual, it works as team.
So thank you very much, Ravindra. Definitely, one should be committed and one should be a good team player. When you are working in a team, then your contribution matters and the success matters. When a cricket team is playing in it and with a team spirit, the success matters, the win matters. Nothing else. The individual contribution can be counted later on. Thank you very much. The one last question I will ask, and after that we will start the question and answer session. What are the importance of the social networking like LinkedIn? Today we have seen that LinkedIn has getting a very hype, and how a student or how the fresher can be an effective LinkedIn member on that one, and how it can help them their employability. So may I request Dr. Anuj Tripathi once again. Dr. Anuj Tripathi.
Yes, sure.
Am I audible? Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah,
yes, you're audible, sir.
Perfect. So, yeah, I guess when you talk about employability, or when you talk about joining a new organization, new challenge, showcasing your previous work, your expertise is quite at all necessary. And we always, social media platforms were always been a platform wherein significant background checks can happen. Obviously, being a different kind of motivations and different kind of target segment, LinkedIn is the platform wherein resources can show their skills, and that also talks about the behavioral aspect of it, that what kind of material content they are consuming. So resume, when you talk about freshers, the resume is of one pager, very limited knowledge on it. However, on LinkedIn, you can elaborate it to the extent wherein you can showcase different skills, you can showcase your different certification, etc. So definitely that helps your employer to know you better and more deeper towards your knowledges, your skills, and that way you can convince them on very great manner. So this is the reason, I guess, the LinkedIn is obviously very famous among the freshers as well. And I will definitely suggest that everyone should have one profile with the professional guidelines per se. and all the skills. They should follow the relevant people. And it's all about the net worth is all about the network you have. So when you grow your network, sometime you are going to connect with better people, with leaders. They can understand your behavioral aspect, how you are consuming the content, and can give you opportunity out of the box as well. So I'll motivate to the students to create a professional LinkedIn profile, follow the guidelines, and there are several guidelines that what kind of photos you need to upload on as your profile picture, what should go to the headings, how that capitalization need to be followed. Everything you must consider, and that way it will give you a better outcome during your job interview as well, and the chances of hiring you is also incremental there. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Anuj. And
I'd like to add,
yes, please, sir. Please
utilize LinkedIn Learning to keep on upskilling yourself. There are free courses from how you manage your team to how you develop a software. So you can do anything depending on your interest. There are 1 hour to 1 month courses available on LinkedIn. Most of them are free. I think people should utilize LinkedIn Learning also very well.
I echo that. It has some free good skills. You can also look at the learning paths they have created, which is very well, which have courses and the videos which you can go through, and it's certainly great. There are a lot of free courses which are available for students and crash courses for students on Oracle site as well. So you can go there and learn certain softwares and skills through that as well. And look for some certifications, online certifications.
Just to add and let the students know, I think it's a biggest boon that this generation has, LinkedIn, which is a great tool to showcase your profile. I think we all lived in the world of Word document resumes, but today I think it's a absolutely powerful tool. And what is very important in this is the authenticity of the data that you put in, because each of the data is validated. If it is your prospective or a future employer, each of the data is validated. So I think just correlating to the previous question, the ethics around keeping your profile updated is very important, and it's a great powerful tool. So create your visibility and create the right connections that will take you to the next level. And of course, to add in to the other panelists, I think the LinkedIn courses are a great learning platform, and I think each of these students should leverage on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely. Thank you very much. I believe that LinkedIn is not only to showcase, but also a platform to learn. And everyone must create an account and get the maximum from it. So I can see that all the panelists are the ocean of the knowledge, but the time is the limit. So I will quickly move to the question and answer session. So moving directly to the audience, please students, you can unmute yourself and ask your queries to our expert peoples. So may I have the question? And maybe we have some question on the YouTube as well. I can request our coordinators to please send the queries from that one also.
Meanwhile, Saurav, can I take this opportunity to tell one point?
Yes, please, ma'am, please.
Okay. See, the world, the community needs more of kind people. And I have been volunteering through my school times. And believe me, it's automatically built a lot of skills which you actually need today. Being inclusive, being it, reaching out, collaborations, thinking, problem solving, a lot of things. So if it helps please go and join some volunteering activities which is happening around you. You may be having institutes or your colleges. Join those platforms and extend help. Over the period, you will see a good positive change. You will see a more empowered, good human being in yourself. So I would definitely advocate that. Look for volunteering opportunities. That also is one of the way how you can grow as a person and as well as a professional, which will definitely help you in a longer time.
Yeah, I totally agree with Neelamji. And the generation today is actually aloof with what is happening on the ground. They have not seen the situation. Even in the COVID, they were enjoying. It was more of a holiday than a circumstantial situation for them.
True.
So they need to go on the ground, see what is happening. They need to go do voluntary service for one purpose, only learning and adding empathy, seva bhav to themselves, nothing else. No certificates would only help them eventually, but the values that are imbibed in them during that course of voluntary activity will go immensely, change their entire attitude toward how this humanity exists and ecosystem exists. Although career में भी ये चीजें impact करती हैं, your IQ and EQ both goes all along when you are going into a leadership role eventually in your career path. So EQ from beginning, if something is imbibed in career in students, that will be very helpful for them in their leadership journey.
I would also like to add one perspective here, that is consuming podcast. So nowadays, podcasts are quite hot in the nature, and a lot of good content is being released in terms of podcast. So while you are in gym or you are doing some entertainment related stuff outside, keep a habit of hearing podcast, and that will add to your knowledge as well. Because ideally, I could have suggested that you can read books, but if that is not possible, at least consume podcast. That will increase your knowledge and knowledge around the subject matter, plus around the overall operations, overall world, how the industry is operating, what are the essential features. Based upon your interest, you can decide and consume accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the good human beings is the very first thing which we should focus on that one.
Yes.
So whether with the volunteering or whether by social network, social work, you must be there. Yes, students, please ask your questions.
Sir, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm happy to say that in our college we are improving our media cell and NSS volunteering through helping others, and we have joined so many things. Many of our students are going to nations.
So that's a good shout out to.
We are helping others to be in a better place. So I would love to happy to say this good news to you all.
Great to hear that, Akarshan. Keep going and keep influencing more and more people. And certainly at certain stage, you will find a better version of yourself. And it will definitely be helping you in your work, whatever work you do, whether it is a job or an entrepreneurial things or a social work, it will definitely help you and value add to whatever you are doing. Any questions for us?
Yes, do you have more questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
So Akarshan, your profile picture is of the biggest French hacker, Robert. He actually had Arogya Setu as well. Oh, he's an ethical hacker, by the way. He alerts government on the breaches, possible breaches.
Good observation, Dharmendraji.
Sir, it is a
Already
green
he had a
ripper.
skeleton Halloween picture which he changed to this.
It is a green ripper, sir.
Good.
And there are one question on the YouTube as well. Just give me a moment to get that one. So one question is that there are some robots or the automations are there. So are they going to kill our jobs, or what we should do to fight for with them? Some question is that when there are some robots and automations are eating up our jobs, how we can tackle?
Yeah, in 90s, when the government brought in computers, there was same question by a lot of government employees that what would we do? What would a clerk do? जो paper maintain करता है, some computers will come into. It will increase the jobs. It will increase productivity. We are up for a very big game, and there's a lot of data coming in, and robotics, data analytics, tools like Python and all consume humongous amount of data. Humanly, it is not possible.
Yeah, it's a myth. I would say a myth, and let us not get carried away with that myth. I think the world has only evolved with automation, and more jobs have been created if it is from a job perspective, but the world has evolved with automation. So it's only a myth, so let's not get carried away with that.
Look things with the positive things and see that how it is helping you. With everything, there could be one con which is okay, it is irrelevant. But look at the jobs. If robots are so like it has been told, there will be a lot of job opportunities. So be positive. Don't look for the myths. Look for the facts and the future associated with that. See how you leverage if the area, how you can leverage, how you can upsell and contribute and do a value add in the future.
Absolutely. I think I can. It's only because of the world of automation, the healthcare industry, and I have been working in the healthcare industry for the last 20 years, has been able to offer so much of value to the entire world. And it's only because of technology, the world of automation, the amount of data that is there, really clinical trials, etc., is all through automation. So I would say technology and automation has been a boom to every industry, and let us just proceed continuing with saying that yes, we are on our way, and we have to be agile to learn to new adopted technology.
Thank you very much. So one more question from the YouTube also. This is Mr. Nishant. He's asking that if someone gives their best already, then how can they remain consistent? Means if someone already achieved some designation or some good job, and how he or she can be consistent in the future?
So can I take this question?
Yes, please, sir.
So there is a saying that what brings you here will not take you there. So consistency is very important, and one of the very important aspect which takes you to the next level. So what you remained consistent, that is the reason you have achieved something. And if you want to achieve, you want to stretch your goal and achieve something better in the future, one has to be consistent in learning, in performance, and in all the aspects. So this should be the more motivation, I guess. Whenever we do anything, the motivation behind it plays a very vital role there. And to remain consistent, you should have one motivation that what is the ultimate goal you are looking for. And that answer will keep you motivated throughout towards all the aspects. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we
Just
are,
to add little
yes,
on
please.
that,
Yes,
you've
please, ma'am.
already achieved something. What is next? Always keep that and then keep going towards your goal. Keep asking, what is next? I've already done this. What is next? And again, work towards that using the consistent features which you have, behaviors you have. Sure.
Okay. One question is that in the chat box, you all briefed us about how and why ethics matters and why should we kind. But as a student from the outside, from the corporate world, the way I see the corporate world is to be extremely cruel, ruthless, and competitive. Is it true? And how kind the one loving and the kind in such atmosphere? So,
Shall I pick it?
so yes, please.
The right person for this.
First, did we sound as a cruel, ruthless people? We all work from the IT corporates. No, we are all humans first. It's all the myths which are created by a certain section of unhappy people, Don't look at that. You are new. You are a baby who is ready to enter into the corporate world. Do not keep prejudices. Meet people. You are meeting humans. Have a belief in yourself, what you are and what you're going to do. Don't judge people with someone else, experience and things. You go and experience. People are not ruthless. Corporates are not ruthless. Certain guidelines, ethics are put up in the organization so that everyone aligns, and it is only for making a healthy working environment. And believe me, Corona has come as a boon where even the HR people have been trained, how to be, keeping well-being of your employees, how you need to speak, the kind of words, the tones, they have been reskilled now to handle the people. So I don't think this kind of myths being cruel, ruthless suits now or even before. I am in industry for 22 years. Fortunately, unfortunately, I never met anyone who was rude to me or who made me feel uncomfortable in the organization, where I felt, or I regretted that, why am I working in a corporate, right? So don't have that things. And maybe Dharmender sir can add more on that.
Yeah, it is. If you're nice to everyone, then people will be nice. काम करो यार, अपना काम से मतलब रखो. Don't do loose talk. People respect work, nothing else.
And there is to add, there is a rule of 80-20 as well. That actually these 20% of the people who talk about this cruelness and rudeness, who are generating such kind of phenomena, that industry is quite competitive in terms of behavior as well. But it is not the situation. As Dharmendra sir said, that you need to just work with honesty, and the world will follow you. So your peers, your superiors, all are going to appreciate your work because you are again helping to achieve.
Absolutely. I would also say that, Shubhang, if that has been your experience, don't get, confused with that notion only. Probably it's been a wrong thing, but it's a wonderful world. It is only through hard work, just like all the panelists have mentioned. Hard work and proving yourself takes you in a very successful position. So get away from all those perceptions and look at it in a very positive note.
Definitely. If you are doing something right, everything will be right. So don't look at the bad opinions, only look at the good opinions which are coming out. So one more last question is that what kind of the internships are you suggesting for the marketing, in the field of marketing, how they should go for there?
World is digital now. So explore internships in digital, be ROI based, PPC, SEO, SEM, performance marketing, bringing traffic to the businesses, creating leads, creating sales is very much required in all the businesses.
So marketing is a pull mechanism. And when you talk about internship, the basic knowledge is quite at all necessary. So I would like to suggest there some aspect of marketing which can be looked into. One is the digital marketing, running ads on Google ads, plus social media like LinkedIn, Facebook. All these interfaces provide you a deeper knowledge about your customer. Segmentation is there. One can learn and start internship in digital advertisement. The second can be organic traffic. That is SEO, SMO part of it. So you can learn how you can bring organic customers to the service providers that is there. Third is research position. So data research, knowing more about your customers, doing a crystal clear research about the prospect. This is another field where one can learn during the internship and have better knowledge of the other aspect, your customer, who can be the target customer and why target customer. So these are three areas which one can start with 3 months of internship, and definitely it will add value once you're in any organization as a marketing leader.
Thank you very much. And so now the time is very limiting. So I am putting the stop on taking the question right now. So may I request our Dean, Dr. Anish Vijay, to please give the vote of thanks to all other expert peoples.
Thank you, Dr. Saurav. Am I audible?
Sir, your voice is a little bit slower.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. I, Dr. Anish Vijay, on behalf of management, faculties, staff members, and the students of Poddar Group of Institutions, express my heartfelt gratitude to the keynote speakers, Dr. Kumar Vishwanathan and Mr. Harjeet Kanduja, for their willingness to take part in this conclave and for having taken out their precious time from their hectic schedule. We believe that the knowledge they have shared, like they have talked about core competency, they have talked about keep learning, which is very important for employability. I think all our other speakers also talked about the same. To become employable, you have to keep on learning, because learning is a lifelong exercise which every one of us has to do. Further, I am thankful to all our panel members, Dr. Ankita Singh, Dharminder Khanna ji, Neelam Tiwari ji, and Dr. Anuj Tripathi, and also Ms. Malini Lakshman, for your valuable discussion on various aspects of recruitment, skill requirements, and preparing oneself for the corporate world. And the last one, which was very important, because people generally have a wrong conception about corporate, that corporate job is generally, not very charming or not very good. But believe me, if you are a worker, if you work well, everywhere you are going to gain the respect and also the appreciation all over the world. Not just corporate world, but at home also we are appreciated by our parents whenever we do good jobs. So believe me, just keep working, as every one of the panel members also emphasized. Further, I would really appreciate our audience joining us on various platforms for their patient listening and also active participation in this conclave. You have been a great audience. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Mr. Kamlesh Kumar Singh and his team from the ICT Academy for their utmost support and coordination for the smooth conduction of this conclave. I also would like to express my respect and gratitude to the chairperson, Dr. Anand Poddar, and Director Madam Mrs. Rupal Poddar from Poddar Group of Institutions for providing us with free hand and full support in conducting this conclave. We look forward to your participation in our next future event. Thank you once again and have a good day. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
So thank you to all of our respected dignitaries. We are hoping to see you in the offline as well very soon, and we shall be inviting you for the different events in our organization. So thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Madam Announcement, please fill this feedback form. You all are requested to fill this feedback form also.